I know because today's the first day I actually saw you taking notes. So I think you come prepared today.
Joe, a lot of times in business you can wing it, but you don't want to wing it. And what I want to talk about today is wowing your customers.
Got it.
I think it's so important to, give that customer the feeling that you're putting their interests first. You wow them. You do what you say you're going to do right from the beginning. It is so important. And I know you have a comment about that because of the way you work with customers.
Yeah, in my case, Tom, I try and define the customer's expectation on the front end. And once I do that, it makes it a lot easier for me to be able to carry on a genuine conversation moving forward. So I don't try and sell them on what it is I do. I try and define their expectations. And at the end of that conversation, if they still want me to be the man, then I'll be the man.
Yeah, Joe, a big part, a lot of people think sales is selling somebody. In our opinion, it is not. What we do is advise. We advise our clients because we're experts in the industry, and we want to make sure our clients know what they're getting into, know what every detail of the deal is going to encompass, and like you say, handle their expectations, handle those expectations. And one thing I like doing that is another way of wowing the customer is I call it following up when they least expect it. So being proactive with our communications with that customer, I think, is imperative. A lot of customers come to us and they tell us, the reason they're no longer with their previous company is they never heard from them. Shame on them. We need to follow up with our customers.
Well, talk a little bit about that, Tom, because in my world, I tell people all the time, my customer cannot be right. Because if they're right and they know everything, they don't need me, right? I mean, there comes a point where I have to say, listen, this is what I do, right? And so when I'm giving them this information, when I'm defining their expectations, a lot of times I'm disappointing them. I'm not actually telling them what they want to hear. And I tell them often, listen, in my role, my job is not to tell you what you want to hear. My job is to tell you what I really think is going to happen.
Joe, that's a kind of one of the opening statements when I meet with customers. What I talk about is you got to tell them the good, the bad, and the ugly. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't give the advice because it's hard advice at sometimes. Hey, if it's good, all good. I love giving that. I love talking about. But unfortunately, it sometimes is not. So to be honest, to be upfront with the customer is so important. And I truly believe they will appreciate that honesty in the long run.
Okay. So you ready for where are we at on the article?
So I think we need to give them more than they're expecting to, Joe.
Okay.
It's easy to say that, hey, we'll put a sign up on your property and we'll put it out to some advertising loopholes and we'll get you some, but give them more than they expect. Give them more than what the competitor will give them. That's another way of wowing customers. I offer customers something that they didn't think that they would need. A lot of customers that come into my door don't understand the study of demography. The demographics of where they have to go and where their business, you and I talked about it this morning, where their business will thrive and survive. I don't want to put a coffee shop on the coming home side of the road. And I've had customers come to me asking that, and it's ludicrous. You got to tell them that won't work.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do. I've lost some customers because I've told them these things.
Right. I find it interesting that a lot of times, take an example of coffee shop. We talk about it all the time. It's a couch and a couch and a dream. A lot of times people think that they have a full, completed business model, but they don't.
No,
they really don't.
They don't. They've looked at it from an operator perspective, but not from the perspective sometimes of the consumer and the trends.
Right.
Trends state a lot. Success and failures of businesses go in correlation with trends. It's hard to say, but it does. The other point that I'd like to bring up is the fact of gratitude. we have to thank our customers. We have to thank our customers for doing business with us. We have to thank them for giving us the opportunity. They can go anywhere they want to get services. But when you wow your customer, one way of wowing them is to give them the gratitude that they deserve for choosing you and putting savings, putting effort, putting time into this and letting you be their partner in the process.
Okay, we're running short on time. What's the next one you got?
The next one is continue the contact after the transaction. I have a little sweet lady that I helped sell some land recently, Penny. Penny, I love you. I followed up with Penny. She just had a surgery, but continue that communication. Continue the contact. And Joe, one of the biggest things, retain a customer for life. It's not a one-deal situation. You don't end that relationship when the transaction is over. You should always retain a customer for life. I've been in the business. In November, it'll be 20 years that our office is open. I started with a customer, my biggest customer, and to this day, they are still my customer.
You know, Tom, it's interesting that you say that because one of the things that have made me so successful as the top business broker in North and South Carolina is something I started many years ago that other brokers were making fun of, and that is I've got a database of about 12,000 buyers. It used to be that the broker would think a buyer was sort of this perishable thing, right? If they didn't buy what you had today, they were going to go someplace else and buy another business, so they wouldn't be a client of yours tomorrow. And what we've learned is that's not the case. No. A small business guy is always in and around business. They're always buying businesses and selling businesses and moving and maturing and that sort of stuff. And so taking care of a customer has become a reoccurring event. We kind of joke about it, hey, I've sold this business 4 times. You know what I mean? And so you would have never thought that would be the case over the years, and it's because of the database that we've created, we can stay in touch with clients that otherwise just would have moved on. So that's something that has been sort of a secret that is out now, and more brokers are trying to create a database.